I was looking at a comparison earlier this morning that, well, honestly, it kind of unsettled me.
Oh, yeah.
On one screen, I had a standard AI chat. It was giving me this generic advice, just really bland text.
The usual stuff.
Totally. You ask for a marketing plan, it says post on social media, it feels like filler. And then on the other screen, coming from the exact same model, I saw a response that was strategic. It was nuanced. It referenced specific churn metrics, competitor weaknesses. It was advice you'd pay a consultant 5 figures for.
And the only difference between the two wasn't the model's intelligence.
Yeah.
It was the architecture around it.
Exactly. Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at that gap. We're dissecting a guide by Max Min called 6 Business ChatGPT Hacks for Power Users.
Right.
And since we are, settled into 2026, the premise here is maybe more relevant than ever and argues that most of us are still treating these hyper-intelligent models like they're just advanced Google searches.
It's the classic garbage in, garbage out problem, but flipped, right? In 2026, if you put gold in context, constraints, data, you get diamonds out. But if you're just chatting, you're getting, well, generic slop.
So the mission today is to move from just asking questions to building what the source calls contextual infrastructure.
Contextual infrastructure. Sounds a little heavy.
It does, but it basically just means building a system so the AI knows who you are before you even type a word.
Right. We're going to break down why the free tiers probably cost you money, how to create a master prompt that's like your business's biography.
And this next part is my favorite.
Yeah, this is the good stuff. How to turn your best work into system prompts that are basically intellectual property.
We'll also get into the specific keywords. There are 7 of them that actually change how the AI processes information. But let's start at the very beginning, the foundation.
Okay.
The source opens with a very direct, I'd say somewhat aggressive challenge. Stop being cheap.
Yeah, it's blunt. But the math, it's hard to argue with. The guide says if you're running a business today, in 2026, relying on the free tier of ChatGPT isn't just being frugal, it's a liability.
Okay, so play devil's advocate for me here. I'm a solopreneur. I'm watching my margins. Why is that $20 a month subscription mandatory? Isn't the text generation basically the same?
The text generation might be similar, in a vacuum, but you're missing the tooling.
The tooling.
The source frames it around opportunity cost. If the paid tools, things like deep research or Canvas, save you even 1 hour a week, that's 52 hours a year.
Which, at any decent hourly rate, pays for itself immediately.
Instantly. But the real cost of free is a lack of integration.
You mentioned deep research and Canvas. Can we just clarify those for a second? Because those terms get thrown around a lot. What are we actually paying for?
Sure. Deep research isn't just like a web search. It's an agentic behavior. You give it a topic, and it goes out, it browses multiple sources, it cross-references them, synthesizes the findings, and it cites its work.
So it's the difference between asking a librarian a question and hiring a research analyst for the afternoon.
That's a great way to put it. And Canvas. The source talks about something called vibe coding.
Yeah, what is that?
Vibe coding is the internet slang for it, but Canvas is a dedicated workspace. So instead of a linear chat where everything disappears up the screen, you have a document editor on the side.
Okay.
The AI can read, it can edit, it can code right alongside you in real time. It understands the context of the entire file, not just the last 3 sentences you wrote.
So without that, you're basically trying to build complex systems in a text message window.
Precisely. You are bringing a knife to a gunfight. Without those structural tools, you aren't building a system, you're just queuing up for another chat.
So simply put, is staying on the free plan actually a liability at this point?
Yes. Without deep research in Canvas, you're missing the structural advantages required for modern business operations.
Okay, so let's assume we've made the investment. We have the tools. Now we face the blank screen. The source identifies the amateur mistake.
Ah, yes.
As treating every new chat like a meeting with a complete stranger.
And this is the biggest friction point for everyone. You open a new window, you ask, how do I grow my business? And the AI gives you that hollow, generic advice we talked about.
Optimize your SEO.
Hire better people. Yeah, it feels hollow because it doesn't know you.
Right.
It's just hallucinating a generic user. The fix is to effectively onboard the AI into your company and calls this the master prompt.
So think of this as the biography of the business. But I have to say, looking at the requirements, revenue, team size, priorities, pain points, constraints, writing all that out sounds like a massive chore.
It does, and that's where the real hack comes in. The source explicitly says, Do not write this from scratch. That's the old way of thinking.
So what's the new way?
You use the AI to reverse engineer its own instructions.
Walk me through that.
You flip the dynamic completely. You open a chat. You could even use voice mode while you're driving or something, and you just say, interview me to create a master prompt for my business. So you make the AI ask the question.
Exactly. It'll ask you maybe 5, 10 questions. What are your margins? What keeps you up at night? Who is your ideal customer? And you just answer naturally.
And when you're done,
You tell it. Synthesize everything I just said into one dense, structured block of text.
and that block of text is your master prompt.
That's your portable context. Now let's look at the difference. Without it, you ask about growth, you get do marketing.
Right.
With the master prompt, let's say for a $2 million sauce company, the AI knows you have high churn in your enterprise tier.
So the output changes from do marketing to what?
It gets specific. It says, based on your churn rate in the $500 tier, your biggest growth lever isn't new marketing, it's fixing the onboarding process for those specific users. Here is a 3-step plan.
That is a fundamental shift. It stops being a search engine, and it becomes a consultant that knows your operational reality. So what's the fundamental shift in the relationship with AI here?
It stops being a search engine and becomes a partner that knows your specific business DNA.
Okay, so we're talking about this master prompt as context, but the source suggests we can take this a step further and actually automate tasks. This brings us to system prompts.
This is where we graduate from being a user to being an architect.
Before we get into the how, define the difference for us. How is a system prompt different from the master prompt we just talked about?
Good distinction. So the master prompt is who you are. The system prompt is what the AI does.
A recipe.
Exactly, it's a recipe. It's a robust set of instructions that guarantees a specific result every single time for a task you do over and over.
The source goes as far as calling this intellectual property. That feels like a big claim for a text file. Is that an overstatement?
I don't think it is. I mean, think about it. If you figure out a way to automate high-level strategic thinking, say, a prompt that generates client proposals exactly in your voice with your pricing logic and all your legal disclaimers.
That's an asset.
That is a huge asset. You've automated a piece of your brain.
So if you were to sell the business, you aren't just selling a client list. You're selling the automated brain that runs the operations.
Exactly. And the way you create it is another one of these reverse engineering tricks.
Yeah.
The mistake people make is trying to code the prompt by hand. They sit there typing, please be funny, but professional, and use short sentences.
I've done that. It usually results in something that sounds like a frantic intern.
It's so frustrating. So the source suggests a golden sample approach. Don't write the prompt. Provide the perfect output first.
So if I want a prompt that writes great emails, I find the best email I've ever written, and I feed it that.
Yes. You feed it that golden sample into Canvas. Then you say, analyze this email. Write a detailed system prompt that would reliably generate this exact style, tone, and structure for any future topic.
You're asking the AI to deconstruct your magic.
You're decoding your own intuition. It analyzes your syntax, your sentence length, how you use humor. It builds the recipe for you. You just have to test it and then save it.
The guide mentions a book outline generator as an example.
Yeah, this part is wild. Imagine a prompt that can mimic the thinking style of the Spanx founder, Sarah Blakely, or a YouTuber like Mr. Beast.
How?
If you feed the AI their content, their interviews, whatever, and ask for a system prompt based on their logic, you can generate outlines for your business using their mental frameworks.
Whoa, imagine scaling that. You could have a library of the world's best thinkers, digitized as prompts, just running your strategy.
It effectively democratizes genius. You can borrow the mental models of the world's best thinkers and apply them to your own data.
So why does the source classify these prompts as intellectual property?
Because they automate strategic thinking and decision-making, making the business scalable and valuable to buyers.
But, and this is a big but, even the best prompt can fail if you don't speak the model's language. The source highlights 7 structural keywords.
These are the power words. And this isn't about being polite. It's about changing how the neural network actually processes the request.
Right. Most of us just talk to AI conversationally. Hey, can you help me? Which is fine.
It's fine. But these keywords act like switchboard operators. They route your request to different parts of the model's training.
They signal intent.
Exactly.
Let's look at a few of the critical ones. Act as seems to be the baseline.
Act as role. So act as a senior legal counsel. This primes the vocabulary. It changes the whole temperature of the response. It tells the AI, stop being a generalist, access your legal training data.
Then there's devil's advocate. Why is this one so important for business owners?
Because AI is naturally sycophantic.
It wants to please you.
It's trained to be helpful and harmless. So if you say, I have this great idea to sell ice to Eskimos, the default AI says, great, here's a marketing plan.
Which is helpful, but completely disastrous if you're about to spend real money on it.
Exactly. By using the keyword devil's advocate, you force the model to switch explicitly to critical analysis. It surfaces risks. It finds the failure modes. It asks the hard questions.
It pairs well with another keyword mentioned, constraints first.
Constraints first is the reality check. You tell it, budget, $500, team, just me. Otherwise, the AI gives you the Fortune 500 advice. Hire a team, run a TV ad. Constraints force creativity.
There's also format as JSON for the tech people, or verify and cite for accuracy. Which keyword is most critical for avoiding bad business decisions?
Devil's advocate or constraints first, because they force the AI to deal with friction and reality rather than just polite agreement.
I want to talk about the Groundhog Day effect, though. We've all been there. You have a great chat, you close the window, and 2 days later you have to explain your entire business model all over again.
It's a total productivity killer.
Yeah.
It leads to prompt drift, where you get lazy and the quality just drops.
The source offers 2 solutions for this, projects and custom instructions. How do they differ?
Think of custom instructions as your global settings. You go into your profile and you tell the AI, I'm a CEO, never use jargon, always use bullet points, and that applies to every conversation, forever.
And projects?
Projects are like distinct folders, and each folder has its own brain. So if you have a project called Q1 Marketing, you upload your brand guidelines, your past campaign data, and your customer personas right into that project.
So the AI only remembers that context when I'm working in that specific folder.
Exactly. It creates a kind of long-term memory for that specific domain. You don't have to re-upload stuff. By conversation number 10, inside that project, it's finishing your sentences because it has the full history.
What's the cumulative effect of using projects?
You stop repeating yourself. The AI learns your style and context, making every subsequent interaction faster.
So we built the master prompt, we have our system prompts, the recipes, and we're organized into projects. The final step, the graduation, is deploying these as custom GPTs.
This is where you move from just chattering to actually tool building. A custom GPT is basically taking that system prompt we wrote and baking it into a standalone mini app.
How does that change the workflow, say, for a team?
Well, imagine you have a specific way you want your monthly reports written. Instead of teaching your whole team how to prompt, or just hoping they do it right.
Which they won't.
Right. You build a monthly report GPT. You paste your instructions in one time. You give your team the URL.
They just click the link.
They click the link, they paste their raw data, and the GPT handles the rest, following all your hidden rules. You've effectively cloned your best process and distributed it with a link.
It solves the consistency problem.
It locks the method in place. The source calls this deploying specialized agents as automated team members. You become the manager of a digital workforce, not just a writer of prompts.
I have to admit, I still wrestle with prompt drift myself. I'll start the week strong, but by Friday I'm just typing fix this and hoping for the best.
We all do. That's why the custom GPT is so vital. It protects the process from our own laziness.
So how does this change the user's role?
It shifts the user from chatting with AI to deploying specialized agents as automated team members.
We've covered a lot of ground here. From the $20 subscription to devil's advocate and custom GPTs. If someone listening takes one thing away from this deep dive, what is the core philosophy shift?
It's the ratio mentioned in the guide. 92% AI, 8% you.
That sounds a little passive.
It's not passive, it's high leverage.
Yeah.
The AI does the 92%. The drafting, the research, the formatting, all the grunt work. Your 8% is the context.
Yeah.
It's the strategy. It's the master prompt.
The value isn't in the typing, it's in the architecture.
Precisely.
Well,
If you don't provide the sheet music, the context, the AI is just making noise. But if you build the infrastructure, you become the conductor.
The source ends with a sign-off that I think just summarizes this whole thing perfectly.
What's that?
Let him cook.
Let him cook. It's a meme, but it's such sage advice. It means once you've built the system, once you've provided the constraints, step back. Stop micromanaging the output line by line. Trust the architecture you built.
So the challenge for our listener today is clear. Don't just open a chat and ask a question.
No.
Go build your master prompt.
Open that chat, type, interview me,
Yeah.
and start building your infrastructure.
Because if you don't, you're just searching. But if you do, you're building an asset. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.